Welcome back. Washington's corruption on full display with the Durham report, obviously, and it's only getting worse. In a move akin to a dictator, it appears President Biden has apparently instructed his DOJ to remove the entire team investigating his son Hunter for tax fraud over the millions of dollars that he received in foreign deals. Those deals are a whole other problem and story and corruption. Now, this according to a letter sent to Congress from the IRS whistleblower's attorneys. Before being removed from the case, that whistleblower had alleged political interference in the case from Joe Biden's DOJ. I would say the allegations are all but confirmed now that they've removed everybody investigating Hunter from the whistleblower's attorney, removing the experienced investigators who have worked this case for years and are now the subject matter experts is exactly the sort of issue our client intended to blow the whistle on to begin with. Florida Congressman Byron Donalds joins us now with more on that. Sir, it's good to have you on. So the president, accused of influence peddling and using his son as a bag man, has just removed the entire team looking into his son's tax fraud case. Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct. And look, this reeks of just obstruction of justice at this point. If Hunter Biden's under investigation by a portion of the IRS and that's continuing to go, why do you have the Department of Justice then shut it down and move it over to the Department of Justice? That makes no sense at all. And so this all reeks of the same issue, that you have a lot of people who are backpedaling to protect Joe Biden, because what's becoming more and more clear is that Joe Biden, through his brother and his son, was selling influence to foreign companies and foreign countries.
I mean, how do you get away with a move like this optically? I mean, I understand that they own most of the media and that they control most of the media, but how do you just pull the case from a whistleblower that says there's been political interference in the case? I mean, that to me, that's like a dictator move.
Look, I would agree with you. This is definitely, again, an authoritarian mindset from the left. And the way they get away with it is because the big media, most of the networks and the cable channels, they turn a blind eye to this stuff. Yep. They won't even report it. They don't even go into the particulars of it. They don't bring their guests on or their legal pundits to be like, oh, man, this looks a little bad, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt. It's radio silence from most of the news media on this. And that is what is so destructive of our country. And look, I've been saying for a long time, the Democrats try to lecture us on democracy. It is Republicans, it's conservatives. We are the ones that are actually fighting for the soul of America and for our republic, because we want the law to be applied equally.
Right. And just speaking about the media, I mean, you guys, and you specifically, it was an incredible presentation that you gave last week in regards to what you found, almost undeniable evidence of corruption in the Biden family, clear influence peddling, massive amounts of money from Ukraine, China, from Romania. The mainstream media wouldn't even take this news conference, ignored it completely after the fact. And in fact, here is a member of the New York Times editorial board on MSNBC in the days after.
Nobody cares about these conspiracy theories except for the small part of the Republican base that is controlling the Republican Party like a ventriloquist at the moment, it seems. And it's a really bizarre situation, not just politically, but culturally. Most Americans are thinking, what are these people talking about?
What's your response to that woman?
My response is that she's disgusting, and frankly, I'm wondering why she's even in journalism. I thought journalists were supposed to be reporting the facts regardless of politics, but they don't want to do that. And by the way, this is the same New York Times that went down the whole Russia collusion line, every article, every week, every Sunday's paper, and they were flat out wrong. Right. They lied to the American people. This is the same New York Times that listened to the phony letter that came from Anthony Blinken and Joe Biden about Hunter Biden's laptop. They tried to say it was Russian disinformation, and they were wrong again. And so, unfortunately, we have members of the press who are covering up for the Democrats and for Joe Biden, and it is disgusting.
And you're exactly right. It is really, really scary to see how quickly these people that you would think would care about covering politicians and covering both sides and being, kind of a check on power. They throw that to the wind immediately. It's so corrupted. It's so rotten. And they do it with a straight face and they don't care. And you know how hard it was to find the story about the Durham report in the New York Times today? It was almost impossible to find that in the newspaper today. It's astonishing. Congressman Donalds, thank you so much for taking the time. We do appreciate it.
Anytime.